Hello, everyone. This is Sina. This is a part of Eternal Life Student Project from Westminster's WME Networks. And I have a beautiful guest today who is my friend. Could you please introduce yourself?
Yes, I am Fari and I'm honored to be your guest. And I live. Do you want all the details about who I am and what I am?
Yes, please. Yes, please. We
Yeah.
all are.
So I have been living in the West for close to 50 years, actually. August will be 47, and I am originally Iranian, and I left Iran at the age of 20. I went to England. I am in England for 14 years, and then I moved to America, and I've been in America for 33 years. Currently, I am at some schooling in London, but I met my wonderful husband in America, and we live in America. We're in California, and sure, right now here in London, and we will be back to America in April. And I have been a fitness trainer and a life coach for 32 years in Los Angeles, and continuing with the life coaching. And it's a wonderful journey.
That's nice. That looks very nice.
Thank
So,
you.
like, how did you start with the like life coaching? Like, like you're life coach by heart, and you have a lot of experience. And I just want to know where was the spot that you came to this decision that I am the one that can like help others.
Mm,
You see yourself that the one that you've been chosen by universe, God, or anything like that. Okay, so that I wake up in the morning and I have to help people.
yeah, you don't wake up in the morning really with that because it's a calling. Like, yes, it's definitely calling. I didn't choose to become a life coach. I chose to become a fitness trainer in Los Angeles. And when you go and have your haircut done once in 5 or 6 weeks to the same person, you always say, "Hey, how are you doing? How's life treating you?" And you just say a little bit to each other. Now, these people, because I'm a trainer, they come to me 2, 3 times a week. That makes it 10 to 12 times a month. So after a while, they start talking about their private life, their issues. Sometimes they come in cranky and all of that and say, "Hey, what's going on?" And now they know you, they've been with you for 4 or 5 months
Ah,
or a year, and they start talking to you. And then I have no idea where I come up with these ideas. And then I said, "But how about if you do it this way? Have you thought of doing that way? What do you think if you talk this way?" And I was just sharing my thoughts, not my thoughts only coming from my head, the experiences of having lived a very dramatic life and going through so much in life. And we always don't like to hear the difficulties of other people's life. And because we say, "Oh, they're being drama queen and they're exaggerating." But my traumas and everything that I went in through in life, it has been a gift for me because from that, then I learned to help others and say, "Hey, don't go through my painful path. There are other ways of dealing with this. Don't go through divorce. I went and it wasn't nice and I could have dealt with it differently. Do it this way. Don't fight with this and that. Do it that way." So I just shared everything that it was natural in my life. And I see, oh my goodness, it resonates with everybody. And they all say, "Really? Could you say that? Could you do that?" And fast forward, it was 2015. My client, who is to this day, she's my client, and she's become my client at the 2007, she became my client, and she is a psychologist. She said, "Hey, do you know you're coaching me?" I said, "What's that?" I thought I'm just helping her with her body and fitness. She goes, "No, when you give me all these advice and you tell me this and I do it, it really works. This is coaching." I said, "Oh, okay." So I went on my phone and I just decided to just put it down. I said, "What is coaching?" Because I knew basketball coach, volleyball coach, swimming coach. But I myself being a black belt, I knew that I had coaching in martial art, from my senseis and my old, but I didn't know there is a coach for your head. I knew there is a therapist. I knew there is a psychologist and psychiatrist, which I'm none of that. I'm not even qualified. I never act as one. But I was just having conversations with people.
Ah,
And then just because I put it on my phone, then the algorithm takes it to a different world. And soon after I put what is coaching and what is life coaching, then I just got an invitation like about 2 months later from this gigantic guy here in LA. And that he's certifying people, and his name is Tony Robbins, and everybody knows about him here. He's huge. So I said, oh, okay, I'll get certified by him. So 2016, I became certified by him. So I have a certification, and I can say now, oh, do you know I'm a fitness trainer, but I'm also a life coach. Not that to this day anybody wanted to see it or look at it, but it's big and huge in my office on the wall. Never anyone wanted to see it. So that's how it became. I said, oh, this is an absolute calling. I didn't go for it, it came to me.
that's perfect. I got the same story like you, like being entrepreneur, I didn't know there is a title for it. I had
Yeah.
my like that, and then I researched it. I searched it on Google and said like what it is, right? So it was like entrepreneur. It was like my first time that I heard this title. So and then I realized after 60 years of being entrepreneur, you know.
Unbelievable.
Yes. So the thing is, I'm just wondering that you take it as a responsibility, of your life that, for example, you have a lot of experience in life, right? You've been to in the Middle East and you've been to the West, right? So both life, both culture, they're so different. You blend in, right? So you gave a lot of time and energy and like especially I guess like financially, right? So to just
Hmm.
like blend in with new people, right? New language, new culture. So how did you get in? The first day.
Yeah, I've lived in three different continents actually. I was born and raised in Iran for the first 20 years, in the Middle East. Then went to Europe, and I was in Europe for 14 years. Didn't know a word of English. So
In
I was
Europe,
in, oh,
you mean England or
England is in Europe.
yes.
Yeah. So I was in England, and I became an au pair to be a babysitter for for these families. And I was in their home so I can have a roof over my head and feed me, and then I can have a job so I can learn English better. And,
And you
but
learned
my,
culture
hmm,
too. You
what?
learned the culture, right?
Oh,
So
it
like
was such a shock, especially because the lady, my landlady, she was Scottish, living in London, married to a guy from Bangladesh. So it's such a mixed mash of a culture right in that house. And there's I, as an Iranian woman, and I'm trying to learn the English, but I can't understand what he says because he's got a Bangladesh accent, and she has a Scottish accent. I said, God, what are they saying? So she only
God.
let me go to school for 4 hours a week for 4 months. And it was 2 hours on a Monday and 2 hours on a Thursday afternoon. And the rest of it, there was no computer or anything. Then I only had a dictionary, and my dictionary was my Bible. I was reading and learning from that.
How old were you that time that you started?
20, 20
20.
when I
So
went
you
to,
had
yeah.
no idea about the language or the country that you just like step in to live, right?
What was
You,
that?
I said you had no idea about the language before that, right? So like
Not
me
a
too.
thing. No. I
I went
remember she was pregnant, and she asked me to get her the bottle of the milk from the refrigerator. And I thought she says that I took her the iron that you iron your clothes. And
oh, yeah.
I had no idea what she was talking about.
Oh,
No. So I
yeah.
had to really learn everything from scratch. I knew to say, hello, how are you? But that was it. I couldn't make a sentence. When my sister was here before I was, and I went to buy a pair of shoes with her, and I looked at the guy and I thought, well, I'm going to practice my English. And I said, um, I wanted to say, how much is the shoe? I said, how many are they? My sister said, how many what? I just said, I want to press. She goes, no, you say, how much does it cost? How much,
Oh,
what is the price? And I said, oh,
yes.
how many are they? I thought I
Ah,
knew very good English. So, yeah.
So you learned it all the way with all the things, right? Like the
I had
language.
to learn English whilst I was talking because 4 hours a week for 4 months is not gonna give you the English. And to this day, I'm saying like it'll be it is 47 years I'm here. I still make mistake when I speak English. It's not my language. I didn't go to school for it. I didn't get educated for it, you know. So as I've learned different stuff in life, I've had to learn more of how to speak a better English. And I don't think that's ever going to be completed. And guess what? That's okay. That's
Yeah,
quite okay. You know,
yes, okay, yes. Um, yeah, for me too, I remember when I went to Malaysia for my university, I was 17 and I had no idea about the language.
oh my goodness.
Yes, I started to learn it from there, and I got the like Malaysian accent, and I got like the cultures, and I love it. First
How
time
old were you when you went to
I was
Malaysia?
like
17?
yes,
Yeah,
so,
yeah, exactly. When you're 17 and you go to those countries, you're still ready to grasp the accents better
yeah,
than when you were 20 years old and you have no clue what you're talking about, you know.
yes. And if you can see, like I've got like Persian accent and a little bit of orientation, like oriented, like East of Asian accent, like that.
I
So
don't
some.
hear your Oriental accent at all. I don't hear it. But the Iranian accent is mostly because you live in Iran. You know,
Yeah.
if you come out, wherever you go, after a while, you pick up that accent. I'm out for the half a century and I still have the Iranian accent because I was brought up there. It doesn't matter how many more years I'd be out. I would never lose the
Mm.
Persian accent, and that's quite okay. We don't have to lose it as long as people can understand what we say.
Ah, see. So
Yeah,
so you were alone, right? So you had no like like not perfect English speaking like that skill, right? So
not at all.
when you started your life, you started to learn English, right? And
Hmm.
you learned the culture, the Scottish and Bangladeshi.
Bangladesh. Oh my God, that was bizarre. But then I was there for a year, and then I moved with my Iran. But then I met Iranian friends, and with one of them I moved with her, and we were in Iranian community and then English and but then that was life at that time there in here. But when I moved to America and you think but this is the West and it's all the same, let me tell you, it was more of a culture shock for me. I mean, it
Yes.
was a culture shock when I went from Iran to England, but it was more of a culture shock when I went to America. You think it's all the same, it is so not. You think they speak English. It is so different. Like in America, it took me a year before I could understand what Americans were saying because English of England is a proper language. Americans speak slang. It's a lot of
Like
expressions and
it's something they say direct, right? So they
no,
don't.
no, it's a slang. It's a lot of slang. It's completely the words. Lots of them are very different. And then because I left England and I learned English in England, so now I had English accent and
Yes.
they were laughing at me because I had a mixture of the Iranian and English accent. So I was so ashamed of having the English accent and I was trying to lose it for the longest time. And I managed to learn some American words, and I had to say, like in English, you say, I can't do that. So I had to work hard to lose the I can't to I can't, you
Uh,
know.
e-
So it was
even
just
your
Mhm.
husband is American right now, so you
My
you guys.
husband. Yeah, we've been together only for like 7 years, but I've
What-
been
Do
living in
you
America
talk
for 33
together?
years.
Do you
Huh?
talk? Do you talk so much together? Like you and your husband? Do you
You
talk?
mean in English
Do you,
or
do you talk to each other so much? Like like, as a couple, as a
of
married couple.
course, we
Yeah.
constantly talk. Yeah,
Ah,
I
so,
mean,
so you
couples
got that accent.
constantly talk. And
Hmm.
he's so American, born and brought up in America, in California, and
Oh,
I'm not,
nice.
so that also makes it, my clients are all, if they're not American, I have to speak English, but yeah, it's like constant, um,
Yes.
speaking of the English language. But my husband was very kind to me that when I started speaking with, like when I met him, and he goes, "Don't change your English, don't change the English accent." So
Yeah.
I
It's not
then I
sweet.
realized, oh, these people are jealous. They're making me lose my British accent. So now we've been here in London for 4 months. Everything is coming back to me, and you getting back. I'm going back to the core of the accent where I originally learned English. So I am now again a lot more British, and now I'm a big girl. Nobody can take that away from me. If they don't like to hear it, oh well, too bad.
Yeah. So did you try, in your life, did you try to help any like, any person that comes from abroad, like another country, that they're homesick, they got culture shock, and you talk to them and you share with them your experience on this, and you like try to help them with that?
Every time in any job, whether I was a fitness trainer or I was competing for martial art, and I saw people that they're coming. And to this day, I have a guy who is my client. He's an Indian guy living in Singapore, and he feels really, really homesick and all of that. And I'm just pouring love on him. And then, funny you should say that, my husband went to get a haircut here, and it's a shop, the barber shop they call it, is purely for black people's hair, because my husband is black and he has that hair, curly, curly, lovely hair that they have. So he goes in to get a haircut. Boom, there's an Iranian guy doing the haircut. And I said, Iranian girl, a guy in a black hair shop is really difficult. How does he learn it? So a young chap who just left Iran a year ago, and I walked by the shop and I saw him. And I walked in and I said, "Are you the Iranian gentleman?" He goes, "Yes." And everybody in the shop was listening to us. The rest of them that they're cutting hair, the manager, people who were sitting. So and then one of the guys who works there said to me, he hardly speaks any English. You have to speak to him in Farsi. So I made sure that I first said it in English so everybody can hear me and understand me, and the boss. And then I said it in Farsi. And I said to him, I said, "My husband came to have a haircut with you, and you did the most fantastic haircut on my husband. You should own your own shop. Why are you working in a shop for somebody else?" And I said that out loud, and I wanted, then I said it and he was like looking at me, getting the words, every other one, and he just stared at me like that. And then I said it in Farsi, and I said, "That's what I just said in English." He goes, "Oh my God." And she was like, the guy was like rejuvenated, and he got so, he goes, "Oh my God, thank you." And I said, "Listen, you're a gifted man, you know." And then he goes, "Yeah, I feel so lonely here." And I said, "Don't call me anytime you want to talk. This is it. When you're feeling lonely, you're growing, you're expanding." I went through that. So I started lecturing him. And every time I walk by the shop, I stop and I'd give him words of wisdom and words of love, that this is how it is. This loneliness that you have, it's going to build you to become stronger. Don't be afraid of it. Embrace it. So I talk to him. Yes, I do that all the time.
That's perfect, that you can share your experience, that you just
Hmm.
like, at the first of conversation, you say, I don't want others to feel the pain that I
Yeah.
felt, right? So during your life. And
And that's what I say. I don't want people to go through my painful path.
that's a beautiful concept of having like philosophy in life, that you have something, right? You have a precious thing with you that like not everybody understand it. So like, so why you feel responsible for that, right? So you got your experience, you got your lesson, so you can live with it, right? But for you, you've taken it
It's
as
a
a
mission.
responsibility.
Yeah, it's a
Yes,
mission.
a mission for you. That's perfect. And you just mentioned about your being doing sport thing and being athlete. Could you please like tell us more?
Well, I had a father who was an athlete, and he was, thank goodness I inherited that from him. So when I was a young kid in England and I was so homesick, the only way I could, and in Iran, I was eating my emotions. So I was a very chubby, fat girl in Iran. When I went to England and I thought, okay, how do I deal with the homesickness? How do I deal with depression? How do I, and I thought, and it was cold and it was raining. And I said, I would be jogging. And in England, it's packed by massive, beautiful parks. So I'd be jogging, and there was a recreation you can go and swim, and I'd be throwing myself in the pool. So I was, and so the fitness became my drug of choice. Like I always tell everybody, fitness is my daily cocaine. I've
Uh,
never ever smoked one puff to a cigarette. I've never done any drugs. I never needed it because that became my drug. And then as it was my thing, and then I learned to play tennis and I played squash in here. I didn't have a dime to rub on each other, but I would go in squash places and I would play with lots of these guys because my landlord was Bangladesh guy from, and then he knew that I liked to that. He goes, no, go to that place. It's for free, and they're all from Bangladesh and they're full Indian and they're very good and they can play with you. So he went in and he put words down for me. So I would go and play with, and I became a massive squash player. Then I started learning tennis in the parks of London. And it's just a matter of if there is a will, there is a way. Isn't it? That's the expression that if there is a will, there is a way. I
yes.
wanted to be in sports. So ways would open for me that I was an opener and I didn't even have money to pay. So then fast forward, that turned into me becoming a fitness trainer in America when I came to America. And yeah, and it's just like anything else that you do, like you love fitness and you're doing this, then you get introduced to weightlifting, and you do that in the very cheap gyms that they had. It was, I don't know if it's still existing. It's called YMCA, and what was the other one? I forgot the name of the other ones, but YMCA was a very cheap gym in chain in America. I think they're still there, but I'm not sure. So then from there, it was just like I learned I wanted to help another woman to take her to this place that it was like a high impact activity because she got kicked out of our gym because she was being miserable. So I went to help her to get somewhere else. But to help her to take that gym, finding out that gym, the aerobic they're doing is based on martial art. And then she goes, would you go with me? I said, I can't afford to pay for it. She goes, I pay for you to get in. So we got in. And when I got in a few times, the owner of the gym goes, I love your energy. You have to work here. I said, but I'm not a martial artist, because if you work here, your thing will be for free. I went to help somebody else. The door opened up for me. Fast forward, I became a black belt in Taekwondo with that guy. And then that guy, it made it massive in the world. And his name is Billy Blanks, a big, huge black guy. And he made so much money. And then I became what he created is called Taibo. And then I was one of his Taibo girls. And my weight got, up on there. And then I became a very, very successful fitness trainer in
That's-
America.
that-
And hmm,
You still do. I mean, like you're still doing it.
not anymore. I did it for ever since I was 34 until the year the pandemic kicked in. But
Ah,
the gym got closed and everything got closed, and I never went back to the gym because everything has a season. When the pandemic kicked in, I was, what was I, 64, I think. Yeah, 64, because next month in March I'll be turning 68. So I, life coaching, I mean, I make people to work out whilst
yes.
they work with me as a coach. Sometimes I get them to just get up and do breath work. And because then I became a yoga teacher, then I became a certified yoga teacher, then I became a certified Pilates teacher. When you're into that field, certifications come to you, that the invitations come to you to get. Then I become a certified water aerobic teacher. Then I became a swimmer, certified in lifeguarding in the pool. So people, if they drown, I get them and all that. So certification got coming. The ways got open for me to go to all this certification within the 30 years of being a fitness trainer in London. And that it was led into now me being the life coach that I am because I was helping people.
Ah, that's perfect. We have to pull out our hat for you. Seriously, so much of
Thank
sport and experience and like psychology stuff. That's perfect.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
right now I'm in London to learn. So I am
Oh,
learning even more with the coaching to get another certification from a
nice.
massive school in here. So learning is never going to stop with me. The more you
That's
learn, the more you realize how much you don't know, you know?
perfect. Perfect. Yes. Could you please let us know that why are you in London right now? In what course
That's it.
that
It's because I am at the school. It was this phenomenal coach,
you
a very, very fabulous, successful Indian British guy. He's or Indian family, but he was born and raised here, and he's got a unbelievably prominent school of coaching. And it's like when you see the doctors every few years, they have to go and learn, get more credit in what they know to learn the latest. So it's the same thing with the dentist, it's the same thing with the coach, so you have to upgrade your knowledge, your education with others and networking and learn about everything else. And that's why I'm here in that school for 4 months. And the course was 6 months, but I didn't need to be here for the first 2 months. So I thought it's too much of a traveling between England and California. So we rented our home in California and we came here on this Airbnb and we have 1 more month and then we will be back in April.
That's perfect. I cannot
Mhm.
wait to see like, what's coming out from these London courses, right? And
It's
the
just
thing,
more education and learning to be even more loving and more giving. And that's why I'm putting myself as my love for my job that I do for people. That's why I spend so much money to upgrade my knowledge always.
that's perfect. So another question I have, based on the thing that we just discussed, that I want to know, I wonder, is there any connection between being an athlete and being a life coach? That do you combine these two, like, and you tell to your client,
I
or you?
always do. I always do. I always, always encourage everyone that they must work out. And I give him kind of like I said, okay, tell me what it be. Before I used to give him homework, but now I'm learning that no, I have to ask them what homework do they want to have as a
Mhm.
workout so they will keep up with it. Because what if I say to the guy, go mile, 2 miles, and he doesn't want to do it? He wants to go 2 miles walk. So I want to do it something that they feel doable and they will actually do it. I get somebody to just lie down and put their legs up because they've been standing on their feet. And this is what rejuvenates them. Depending on what who does, they must have a kind of a workout regime that they want to follow when they start coaching with me because I'm a massive believer of
Nice. So you
how
give
it happens.
people, yes. So you give people like, physical exercises too, right? Sometimes if you think they need it.
Not if I think, I know they need it. It doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah.
It can be a brain surgeon. It can be a president of a country. Everybody in this world, regardless of age, needs to work out. Period. End of the story. So they have to work out.
Yeah. So do you think like how to say it? Like what do you think what happened to your mind that like if you do the exercise, if you have a perfect like healthy body, so what do you think about it? Like what
So that's
happened?
why they say mind, body, soul. Mind, body, spirit. You know, if you have the mindset, if you create the mindset that I have to work out, so now you get your body into the workout, then you're now feeding your spirit, you're now feeding your soul, When I get frustrated, I know it's time for me to go a bit in here. All I can do in London, I can only go for a walk and I can go to the gym. That's all I have to do. And then once a week, like this afternoon, Sunday afternoons, I go and play pickleball. But in Los Angeles, I have a choice of few times a week pickleball, and I have a choice of going to the pool. I don't have that here. So every single, like yesterday, my husband and I went to Oxford because I have a little cousin who was at Oxford University and student. So we went to Oxford. We walked just over 20,000 steps. 20,000 steps we walked yesterday. So that's exhausting and it's tiring. So we do that all the time. And it's an absolute must to do the workout in order to bring the mind, body, and soul together. And your soul, when I work out and I come, it's like it cleanses my spirit, it cleanses my soul. And everyone who works out, when they work, they are like frustrated. When they end the day with the workout and they go home, they're serene once again as a father, as a husband, as a wife, as a
Yes.
mother. You know, it's something else that they need to do. Or sometimes some people need to start the day with it. That makes them good. It's so individual. But what is a must is that to bring the mind, body, soul together.
Nice. And you just now you mentioned soul, which I like too. Okay, so could you like how did you like how do you describe the soul? Like how do you fit it? How do you make it happy? Is it like with a like physical practices or like mindful practices? How do you fit the soul you just mentioned?
Your breath feeds your.
Mm.
Anything that you do intense, like a fast walk, a run, a swimming, weightlifting, yoga. I miss so much of yoga and I can't do it here because I don't have the space in this little Airbnb and I don't have the mat for it. And you say, okay, go buy a mat, but where do I put it? There's no space. It's very small. So all of that, the reason affects the soul is the breath work that we do. With a
Ah,
deep breathing, inhale and exhalation that you do not once, not twice, for the period of time that you're doing.
mm,
After it is like at first is this war zone of my head with my heart that, oh, what I went through the day and who said what and he said this and she said that and the neighbor did this and that and that and that and we're fighting. But when it takes after 30 minutes and 40 minutes, this war zone becomes quiet. And now your spirit takes over because when this fight is happening, is the ego, is the fight of the ego with, oh, let me get the ego in it. But really, I'm learning nowadays that instead of saying fight the ego, I said listen to the ego, create conversation with the ego, make
mm.
friends with the ego, because ego never sleeps. We have
True.
one organ in our body that never sleeps. One organ in our body. Do you know which one it is? One organ. Do you know which
What?
one it is? Heart. It's your heart. Everything takes a nap when you sleep, but your heart. Ego never sleeps, just like
Mm,
the heart. That's why you have nightmare. That's why I get up in the middle of the night. The thoughts are attacking me. All of that. Lots of people do that, right? Or I see people, they're walking and they're talking to themselves with such an anger. The ego constantly has that conversation. When you're doing the breath work, when I'm kicking hard, when I'm lifting weights up, when I am walking for a period of time, when I'm hitting that ball and I'm playing the pickleball or golf or tennis or whatever, it's the conversation with the ego that I need to be in peace with my soul and my spirit. You have to watch my husband loves playing golf. When this man goes and plays golf, You just have to watch him. He leaves his body. I see he's gone. He's not there anymore. And that's when you see the divinity in him. He becomes that divine spirit. He becomes that divine soul. That's what happens when I lift weight. That's what happens when I play. I never ever realize how long it's been when I'm in the court and I'm playing. All of a sudden, it said, "Oh, it's hour and a half." I'm not there anymore. That's
Okay.
your spirit.
Yes. Ah, that's great. Oh my
Mhm.
God. And
People think meditation means you sit like this and you say, "I'm meditating." It is so not true. Somebody likes to sit like this, shoot me in the head. I can never sit 5 minutes like this. My meditation is when I'm working out.
perfect.
My meditation is when I'm running around. My meditation is when I'm lifting weights. My meditation is when I'm doing the yoga.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
meditation. Somebody's meditation is the guy that is sitting on that horse and is going wrong, or the guy that is running on the street and they go and they take off and they've gone forever. I had a client that goes, I said I would be back in 30 minutes. And he goes, I looked and I've gone for 3 hours. And he's running all the time. Everybody has a different way of meeting themselves in that temple
True.
of, I like to call it God, you call it universe, in that temple of God, in that temple of divine and divinity,
Yes.
is when you do something physical.
You do. You
There
act.
is no, yeah.
Do it. You just
Hmm.
make it like work,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then you act.
And
Ah,
somebody in India likes to sit 5 days like that, and that's theirs.
yeah.
No judgment, acceptance.
True. True. Yes. So, can I ask you something for now? Do you have any like breathing practice that we can do right now that others they can still
Oh,
like? Oh,
all the
yeah.
time you do a
So
breathing
tell me, let's do
in
it.
the morning. No, the very simple way. They call
Yes.
it like, because you want to rejuvenate yourself. The very simple way. You sit up straight, and I always started with
Okay.
every client, and I said, are you sitting cross-legged, or are you sitting with your feet down on the ground? If you have shoes, if you can take it off, take it off. If you can't, doesn't matter. Feel the ground, feel the earth underneath your shoes, you know. And I said, all you do, sit up straight with your back straight. And do you want me to walk you through a breathing technique?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
going to be about a minute. So then close your eyes, sit up tall. And then I said, go to your toes and feel the ground under your feet and begin to wiggle your toes. Wiggle the toes and bring
I
the life in your toes. Yeah,
It's
huh? What?
my favorite. I love wiggling my toes. Every time
Really? Excellent.
when I'm excited, when I'm so happy, I do it. I,
There
yes.
is a reason. And it's interesting when I start people and I said, wiggle your toes, and they've been yoga teachers, they said, we've never done that. That's very interesting. I don't know where it came to me, but I've been doing it. So
Yeah,
wiggling
that's
your toes. Mhm. Wiggle your toes. Inhale and exhale as you wiggle the toes. Wiggle the toes, and now take your attention to the heel of your feet. Lift one heel up and then another, and just one heel up and another. And when you lift the heel on the right foot, press all 5 toes into the ground. And now bring it down. And when you go lift your left heel up, press all 5 toes on the left foot into the ground and make it like they're jogging. So lift one and drop the other one, and then lift up tall. Now bring the energy from the wiggling of your toes into your ankles, into your lower legs, into your knees, your legs. Bring it up into your pelvic floor and take it into your sacral. That in chakras, if you're into yoga, you know about the chakras. Take it to your sacrum and take it up into all the chakras in your spine. Bring it up to your neck. Take it into the crown of your head. Open up your chest by pushing your shoulders back and exhale it out there, up from the crown of your head. And see a beautiful, wonderful, colorful light is coming from the sky, from heaven, from the universe. This light is coming down to your head. Let it go to your head and circle it into your brain to wash your brain. Inhale it as you bring it into your head. Inhale it. Take it into your shoulders, into your arms, wiggle your fingers, bring it into your upper body. Squeeze your butt muscles as it's going to your buttocks. Take it into your legs, down to your feet, to your wiggly toes, and give it to the universe. Give it to the earth and exhale it there. And open your chest, draw your shoulders back. As an inhalation, lift your shoulders up and circle your shoulders back, and then say, ah, side out. Inhale, lift your shoulders up. Exhale, push your shoulders back and down and side down. Drop the shoulders. Inhale, lift your shoulders up. Lift the shoulders up, lift your chest up and shoulders back and down and side out. And bring the palm of your hands in front of your heart. Rub your hands together in front of your heart. Rub it hard. Create heat in your hand and rub it really strongly and powerfully to create heat in your hands. Inhale and exhale. Stay with your breath. Now rest your hands, the warmth on your hands on your eyes. Feel the heat from your love, from your soul is going to your eyes, into your third eye, into your crown of the head. And inhale it and raise your arms up. Lift everything up and take your arms out to the side and exhale it and bring your arms down on your lap. And if and when you're ready, with a nice smile of being present in this moment, then you open your eyes.
Wow.
So I
Oh
cut
my,
it short.
that was amazing. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
The perfect thing of that. You know, I feel how do they call it in English? Relief? Like I
It's
feel
a
good.
relief. Yeah, you feel the relief and you
Yeah.
feel relieved. You can
Yeah.
say, I feel the relief or I
Relief.
am relieved. Yeah. So when you do this for a few more minutes or as short as that, do it 7, 8 times throughout the day when you're in the bus, when you're in a taxi, when you're behind your computer, all of that. It's really, really helpful and it brings you to a present moment.
That's perfect. So,
Yeah.
honey, how people can find you? Do you have like what do you have?
Well,
Uh,
I have website www.com Fari transformation, one word. And the transformation has become my brand. So because people, I don't change people. People transform themselves. You're always who you are. If you think I don't get angry, you must be kidding. I am who I am, but I've transformed myself. So that's why it's called Fari, no space, one word, faritransformation.com. People can always call me and they can also email me at Fari, Fari, at faritransformation.com.
that's perfect. So
Yeah,
your email is also like Fatty at Fatty Transformation. You know that's your
exactly. Makes it easier for everyone.
yes.
Fari at Fari Transformation, www.faritransformation.com, no space. And my websites are everything is Fari Transformation.
That's
But,
perfect.
yeah,
Could you give us how to say promise us for another episode with us because
it'll be my pleasure. It'll be
I
my pleasure.
really enjoyed it. I know that other audiences they loved it. You know that was a perfect
Thank
talking to you. And thank you so much for the time that you give me and give the audience. Yes, and I want another podcast with you. See, I have a lot of questions, and it was just an introduction for like what's going on. You know, what do you
No
do?
problem.
People can connect with you. So, do you
That
have
would
any
be excellent. Hmm?
do you have any word to share with others?
Life is a choice. Choose wisely. You can
Well,
choose to be miserable, or you can choose to say, what's the loving message in what I'm going through? Choose wisely. Life is all about the choice.
perfect. Thank you so much for
All
that
right,
advice.
sweetheart. Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
me. It was a pleasure to be with you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for giving me this.
Thank you, my love. Blessings to you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.